Good evening, students. So, I welcome you all to this specific session on TCSNQT by WAE for data sufficiency and data interpretation. Give me a thumbs up and also whether the voice is perfectly audible to you all. So, I needed a thumbs up about the voice as well as about the presentation. Are you able to see? This session would be of 1 hour, Garvit. We will be covering data interpretation and data efficiency both. I think we will make a start so that the people who are joined on time, we should respect them for the same. So, my dear friends, this session on DI and DS is very important because not only for TCS NQT, but this is very, very important for all other exams. Infosys has recently included it. Also, game based aptitude has some kind of these approaches that are involved. So, you need to have very sound approach for DI and DS questions. So data interpretation is called DI and data sufficiency is called DS. So can someone tell me about the voice, please, so that we don't miss anything? I need a confirmation on the voice. Quickly, guys. Yes. Now I know that I'm pretty clear to you all. So first, you need to understand in data interpretation what is the type that we get the problems of. What are the various types of problems that we get in data interpretation? So we need to understand that. And for that, let us understand the variety of problems that are asked in various examinations. And so first, let's talk about at a high level, we have qualified it into 3 to 4 types. And I will request you all to have maybe a copy and a pen with you so that it helps us. Very good, Surya. Turaga Venkateshwar Rao. So now, hope you can bring some piece of paper and pen that would help you. Now, in data interpretation, there are four major types of problems that are normally asked. I would deal them one by one. Now, first problem that I would be focusing more upon is the tabular presentation is one. Then bar charts, your favorite. Then pie charts, the circular pie. And last but not least, innovative charts. Something somewhere like spider charts, sorry, some conical charts. So these are the types of charts that are always asked in exams. Now, what are the various tips? First thing, now let's start some unique concept for you all. And what is that? So, my dear friends, the first concept for data interpretation is the concept of SIR. This concept of SIR is very important. It is not the faculty or the person you respect. It is solve if required. You have to only solve if it is required. Now, let me ask you a simple question. Out of these two fractions, which one is the smallest? Tell me. I'm writing down two fractions. This is 1013 and 10, let's say 1018. Then there is a fraction 1 by 10. Can you tell me which is the smaller one? You can tell me that this is the larger one. It's very easy for you to tell. So that is what, do you need to solve it? You need not to solve it. So that is very important point. So now what happens? That is the concept we always will talk about ratios. So in data interpretation, we will not solve unless required. So you have four options. So my dear friends, for example, you have four options. Now you need to tell which one is the largest. So you can tell it by seeing only. It is not required that you solve it. So immediately, the first concept of data interpretation is solve only if required. If it is not required, please don't solve it. So first concept is clear. Can you compare them? Can you take a call, a judicious call? That is what is very important. Now, what is the second concept? ASMD. Now, what is ASMD? ASMD is nothing. This is basically a short form or acronym for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now, you would ask, how is Mukesh telling that ASMD is the father of all short tricks? Now, why I'm telling you all this is that when you were a kid, the first thing that you did was addition. The second thing you did was subtraction. Third was multiplication. And last you did was division. So, and that is the order of complexity also. Division is the most complex operator out of the four. Multiplication is the second most complex. And addition and subtraction are the easiest ones. So, the short trick is convert multiplication and division into addition and subtraction. So, convert multiplication and division into addition and subtraction. I would ask a simple question to you all. What you can use the chat box. So what is 3%? And let's not Google or something, it's a very simple problem. What is 3% of 99? What is 3% of 99? Let's use the chat box. Is it 2.99? Is Garvit right? Someone come up. Duraga, Surya, and everyone who joins, please give a thumbs up. We should be active in the class. Garvit, are you correct? Are you confident? Okay. Sai Sri Lakshmi says 2.7. Garvit says sorry, but Surya now says correct. Actually, he only says once, so it's correct. So what was the approach? Very good, Shubhangi, Mahendra, Tanya. Now you all are rocking. So the concept was very simple. What you did was, if I do it, for example, if I do it as, if I need to find out what is 3% of 99, then my approach would be x upon 99 into 100. If I apply the formula, would be something like this. And then I do, but if I only convert this all addition multiplication into subtraction division, what can I do? What is 3% as compared to 100? It is nothing but 100. What is it? It is 1% added three times. So very simple. It is 1% added three times. So what should I do? How can I write this? I can write 3% as nothing but adding 1% three times, or multiply 1% by 3, or add it three times. So now also you should play with decimals. Now 99 is 100%. 99 is 100%. What is 1%? 1% is 0.99. You just only need to add this 0.99 three times. And then when you add it three times, so just add it. Now, very simple point is, you can add, instead of adding 9.99 three times, you add 1 three times. Now what you got was 3, and what you added extra, subtracted, you added 0.01 extra. So add, then just subtract 0.01, and this is what you did. 3 minus 3 into 0.01, and you get the answer 2.97. This could have been done in the mind. So this is the power of converting multiplication and division into addition and subtraction. That is the concept. For example, so this is you need. So now the concept is very, very simple for you all. So what we need is you need to play with percentages. For example, when you write, someone asked you what is 12.5%. Now 12.5%, if someone asks you what is 12.5%, so the question is what is 12.5% of anything. So what is 12.5% of everything, anything? Yes, it is nothing but 25% is half. So 12.5 is half. Sorry, 25% is 1 by 4. 50% is half. So that's what we play. 50% is half. Half's half. Half of half is 25%. Now again take half of it. So 12.5 is nothing but 1 by 8. So understand playing with percentages and ratios. So you need to understand playing with percentages. Very good, Garvit. Divide by 8. So play with percentages, play with ratios. That's what is my concept. Sai Shri Lakshmi is rocking. Okay, Sneha, you answered it earlier well. So you all are there. Good. Let's go to the next one. What are the basic concepts of DI? Now, so what we need to do is just give me 1 minute. Okay, so now what do we need to talk about is what are the tips for the first problem type that we are going to talk about is tabular presentation. Now the problems on tabular presentation is the first thing that we are going to talk about. And what is it? So now in tabular presentation, the problem would be there would be a lot of tables. There can be one table, there can be two tables, there can be three tables. So there can be multiple tables. That is, you can be given another point which Infosys has tested. What Infosys has tested? It is giving you a paragraph, and from the paragraph you need to build the table. So that is another thing that is coming a lot these days. Is you will not be given a table, but you would be given a paragraph, and from the paragraph you may need to write down the tabular information. Now, second concept is you need to write, understand the instructions very carefully. Whether in the table population is given in lakhs or it has been given in crores. So unit has to be very clear. Another important point that is there in these exams is that during during the questions, one table may have data in one unit, second table may have data in other unit. So one table may have amount in lakhs of rupees, another table may have an amount in crores of rupees. So you need to take care of that very much. So stabilize the unit that is there also. For example, unit of distance may be given as meter in one, centimeter in another, or maybe feet in another. So you need to equalize the units and convert them as appropriate. That is very, very important. So ensure units are consistent. Another important point, very important, is that you need to differentiate between increment and percentage increment. What does it mean? For example, a person has a salary of 10 rupees, or maybe say, so it's a person has 10 rupees. If a person has 10 rupees, then it increases from 10 to 15. The increase is 5 and the percentage increase is 50. So that is a difference. Percentage increase is 50, 5 out of 10, whereas the increase is only 5. So you need to understand the difference between increment and the percentage increment. So increment and percentage increment is very, very important for you. So now these are the tips that we wanted to talk about. Now we will ask another important point. We will be solving some problems which will tell you what are the short tricks for that in particular problem per se. So now let's come to, we would be solving two problems for DI, and then we will be jumping to DS, because data sufficiency is the toughest point that actually troubles you all, and that can be very much visualized through this class. So let me come to a problem. You all will be seeing a problem on your screen and you need to write solve this. So are you, once you are able to see that problem, I will give you 4 minutes to solve this problem. So just see this practice problem. Hope you are attending the class on your laptops. So just see this practice problem, and I would give you 4 minutes to solve, 5 minutes to solve it. You can see this problem. You need to solve this. I'll not disturb you now. Garvit, solve all of them together. Okay, have you solved it? Once you do, so you have now, I think we have only 1 minute left for you all. So I will be, after 1 minute, I will be showing you the answers. And then we will be talking about some of the questions which involved some tips. Okay, let's talk about that in 1 minute. Okay, so I think you all are ready for the answers. Shall I display the answers now and then let's take it forward? Okay, now let me show you the answers. You all can check at the bottom of the screen in a minute. Okay, were you able to see the answers? Hope you are able to see the answers. So, Garvit has got the second incorrect. Now, I would give you a trick in the second one. So, I would ask you to tell me, so what was the expression in okay, now guys, let's talk. I think the first one was very easy for you. First one, you only need a, what was it? Average amount of interest. So, this is only is you needed to add it and divide it by 5. So you got 185 point something. So it was 185, for example, divided by 5. Now we all know that that when we start, it is 5 3, and what we get is then 6. So we get first two digits as 36. Now there is no option, no need to go forward, only one option with 36. So option number D. That's the point. Okay. Now let's come to question number two. I think that was the most problematic question where you couldn't approximate properly and where you couldn't make any proper guesses. So could someone tell me what was the format? What ratio did you get? What ratio did you get? This is A upon B format. What did you get? What was the ratio that you got in question number two? Can someone share the ratio? I don't want you to solve. I want to use the concept, sir. So tell me the ratio. Tell me the ratio you got in problem number two. I will help with you. That's the trick. In problem number two, what was the ratio? I only want the ratio. Share with me. Anyone? Garvit, share because you got it wrong. Okay, 1700 by seven. No, no, it cannot be. Okay, it was it like that? No percentage you need. It was 17 upon 1710 some, right? Then because the option is, so it was approximately 17 upon 17.1, approximately this one 17 upon 1710. Yes. So what we need to do now, it is very simple. What you got was, so you need not to solve it, you need to do it by just do it orally. What was it? It was 17 upon 1710. Now, approximately what is 1% of this? What is 1% of 1710? 17.1, and it is the same. So, this is nothing but 1%. So answer is 1%. Okay, and you can make approximations. After doing this, there was no need to solve it. Agree? Any problem in this that you want me to solve, or another any problem that gave you trouble? Fifth one, did it give you trouble, or third one you want me to solve? Tell me the ratio. You need to tell me the ratio. I will solve it for you. I can tell you how. So third, can you tell me the ratio? I will do it without solving for you. Tell me the ratios. We will not go beyond ratios. Tell me the ratio. Any problem you want out of these three? Which one? Which one, Mahendra? So what you got was 17. So it was bonus was this. So the total of this was 17. What percentage is 17 of salary? Now, if you added all of this, you got 1710. So 17 is what percentage of 1710? Approximately 1%. Simple. Yeah, so it is one by hundred. It is 1/100. Or so second question we have already solved it, Mahindra. We have solved it two times. Anyone else? Any problem? Third, fourth, fifth. Quickly, guys. Or shall we go to the tips of date? Got it, got it. Thanks, Mahendra. That's good. Okay, now let's come to the next one. So now let's start. I think DI is fine. I have got one concept for you. That is, let's do this bar chart. Again, I'm giving you three. Just solve the first, second questions. First and second question of the bar chart that you're going to get it. Garvit, the simple point is 1710. What is 1%? 17.1. And that's what you needed. So you can do it orally. Okay? Solve first two problems of the set that I've given to you. First two problems. And then we will to solve, we'll come to data sufficiency. We'll do data sufficiency orally. We have got a very good concept for you all. Okay, guys, quickly solve first two problems. 2 minutes. Hope it is clear to you. It is visible to you. Okay, digits are not clear. I'm writing it for you. 80, 70, 130. This is 140 and 150. So I will read out 94. It's 80 and 70. 95. It's 130 and 120. 96. It's 140 and 150. 97. It's 112 and 100. 98. It's 170 and 160. And 99. It's 160 and 150. Garvit has solved it. One more minute, and okay, we have got 2 minutes already. So Let me show you the answers. So Garvit, you got the first one. Second, I think you got it correct. The first one is very important. I think in how many of the given years was the export at least 10% more than imports? So now let's talk about the how do we do the question number one orally. Follow me, guys. How many of the given years was export at least more than 10% more than imports? Now, what is export? Which color is export? Blue color is export and red color is import. So the first bar is export and the second bar is import. Let's first understand in which year it was greater. Let's first talk about the years in which it was greater. Then will count them. So first is this year it was great. So then the which in which of the years exports at least 10% more than imports. Let's talk about 94. 80 is greater than 70. Yes, put a tick. 130, 120, it's more. Here, not applicable. Here, it's more. Here, it's more. Was the export at least 10% more than the imports? So that's what we are going to do. So we are writing it here, it is more. So these are the cases where we need to know what is export is 10% more than imports. 10% of import, 70 is 10% is 7. So 8 difference is 10. 10 is greater than 7. It is our case, mark a star, we need it. So select S. Difference is 10. And what is 10% of 120? 12. 10 is not more than 12, not selected. We are writing S for the selected. We have written one here, not required. Here the difference is 12 and the 10% of 100 is 10. So 12 is more than 10, selected. The difference is 10. 10% of 160 is 16, not selected. Difference is 16. Difference is 16, right? So we have again, it is less than, and the 10% is, sorry, difference is 10. So 160 minus 150 is 10 and the 10% is 15. So it is not selected. We have only 2 selected. S was 2. So it is answer is 2. Okay. So the very simple point was you could have done it if you know how to play with the percentages. Important point was, but import the blue one has to be 10% more than the red. So 10% of red is 7. That was the logic. You need to take the 10% of this. 10% of 120 is 12. Just put one decimal before. Move the decimal to one place left. You will get the 10%. Is it clear to you all? Let's come to data sufficiency quickly. Time is running. Are you all set? Let me do the data sufficiency first for you because that would be important. Then I can do some graph questions for you. Okay, are you all set for data sufficiency? Because then I will make a start for that. I will be showing you the blank screen and then on that I will talk about the data sufficiency in a very simple format. Just freshen up, get some water for yourself, and then let's talk about data sufficiency. So on data sufficiency, you need to understand how the problems are asked. So you need to first understand the problem structure for data sufficiency. So you need to understand the problem structure. What is the structure of problem for data sufficiency? So it is like following. You always get first some information. Every data sufficiency problem will get some information. So it would be, the first would be info section. So there would be some information given to you. This is the information. Then there will be something called a problem statement. So there would be a PS. So on the basis of information that they've given, they would be asking some questions. So in problem statement, there will be a problem or a question. So that is the second point. So the first point was information coupled with problem statement. Then there are two things which are called as supporting statements, S1 and S2. These are called supporting statements. They are given to you also in the question. Now this is the structure of each data sufficiency question. So each data sufficiency question will have problem state, will always have what it will have. It will have a structure. What would be that structure? Information. For example, a is a natural number. I have given that information. So the first point would be information. Second point would be problem statement. Third point would be supporting statement. So there is a triangle. So what you have been given as a information, info. Then there would be a problem statement. What is the question? And then there would be supporting statements. These three things would form the question. So this is the structure of the question: information plus problem statement plus supporting statement. This is the ideal way a question is asked. Once you know what is now, this is the way the question is asked. Now the whole story starts. You need to focus on the question. So whether this question, the question that is given in the PAS, can be solved with one of the statements, or it can be solved with both of them individually, or it can be solved with both of them taken together but not individually, or it cannot be solved at all. So that shows the sufficiency of this data that is given to you. So that is what is the structure of the question. So you need to find what is the sufficiency of the data. Okay, now let us understand this all concept through a very simple example. Now let me ask you, the question is, information is a square equal to 9 is the information. A square equal to 9 is the information. The problem statement is what is the value of a. What is the value of a? This is the problem statement. What is the value of a? S1 is a is positive. S2 is a is a whole number, or a is an integer. A is an integer. This is the way a problem is asked. Now this is the problem. First, you need to understand how data sufficiency problems are formed. So a square equal to 9 is the information. So if a, it would be like, if a square is the equal to 9, what is the value of a? So they will not write problem statement something like this. This is the way the question would be written. Then S1 would be given, then S2 would be given. Then on the basis of this, you need to provide answer from one of these, which is this. So this is the way. Now they see this slide. This is the standard way a data sufficiency question is asked. They will give you the options. As you can see on the screen, data sufficiency questions, these would be the options that you would get: A, B, C, D, E. Now, we would always talk in terms of S1, S2, so that we don't get it confused even if they change the text of the options. So this is the option text. Even if they check, the first thing we will do, we will customize this in terms of S1, S2. Now we know what is S1, what is S2. We will customize it. Now statement 1 alone is sufficient. That means S1 alone is sufficient. But S2 is not sufficient. Always the first thing you need to is decode. So if S1 is tick and S2 is crossed, it is A. Second, what he says is S1 is not sufficient alone, S2 is sufficient. Then it's a B option. Then what it says is individually they are not sufficient. That means S1 individual is not sufficient, S1 cross. S2 is also cross individually. But when you take both of them together, that then they are sufficient. That means S1 is cross, S2 is, but when you take S1 and S2 both together, they are able to suffice. So data is sufficient. That is what is then the option would be C. If S1 alone is also sufficient and S2 alone is also sufficient, that means both are individually sufficient, then the option is D. I'm just drawing a line so that you don't confuse. Just focus on this. Okay. And what is E? E is S1 is also not sufficient, S2 is not sufficient, and S1 and S2 all together also not sufficient. That means whole data is insufficient. So that means you cannot solve it. That's the point. Okay, so this is the structure that we have got. Now let me summarize for you here out. So what is there? S1, S2. Let's make a table. So what we do is now you know the structure. I would very importantly just make a table for you. You need to have this table and that will clarify all your points. This is S1. This is both S1 and S2 and option. Which option? First, let's fill this. A. This is what you will get in the exam. So you write whatever you get in the text in the exam, you write it. Now, if it says S1 is tick, then S1 is not tick, S1 is not tick, S2 is not tick, both of them are together. This is not tick. Sorry. This is also tick, this is also tick. This is the master table, my dear friends. Now, why this is important? Now, if you remember this table, we can do anything in DS. Now, remember my question. We will solve our question. The question was a square equal to 9 was the problem state, was the information. Question was what is the value of a? So this was the question. Got? So a square equal to 9. What is the value of a is the question. Now, what we need to do, that is the concept. Now, S1 was given to us as a is a positive number. And S2, let's write it here. We will write them separately. S2 was a is an integer. Okay, let's now first thing the rule, very important rule, my dear friends, for data sufficiency. When you see one statement, don't have your eyes on another. Always see each statement alone. When you are seeing S1, don't flirt with S2. Leave S2 alone. So you only need to talk about S1. So S1 is what we only need to talk about. So now first understand a square equal to 9. So can you solve it? You get a equal to plus minus 3. So that means you're not getting a single value of a. You are getting either plus 3 or minus 3. Agree? Now what to do? So let's first talk about S1 and S2. So we will only talk about S1, we will not see S2. So when we talk about S1, we don't see S2. So let's see what is S1. If both are written together, you hide S2. When you are working on S1, hide S2. Okay? So what S1 says? S1 says A is positive. Now S1 says A is positive. That means what is the value of A? Plus 3. So you get an answer. So that means S1 is tick. Sorry, that means what you got, S1, I'm writing it outside, I got S1 as tick, so I got it as S1 tick. Now what I do, I hide S1 and with the same question I knock the door of S2. I hide S1 and I knock the door of S2 with the same question. And what is that question? What is the value of A? Now S2 says A is an integer. Integer can be plus and minus both. So am I getting an answer? My problem statement already, my information always says a equal to plus minus 3, and my supporting statement says it can be plus 3, it can be plus or minus. Agree? Now that means S2 is not able to answer me. S2 is not supporting. S2 is cross. Agree? So S1 is cross. Just understand. S1 was take, S2 is cross. Why? S2 alone, when I was seeing, you need to hide S1. Ask the same question to S1 and S2 alone. You need to ask the same question to S1 and S2 alone. You need not to see them together. This is the master fundamental. I'm again saying never see S1, S2 together. If you see S1, S2 together, you would be in problem. Are you all getting the logic now? Never ever see S1 and S2 together. So S1 was seen alone, it was sufficient. So we put S1 tick. S2 was taken alone, it was not sufficient, we crossed it. Now understand, you will only talk about, so S1 has come tick and S2 has come as cross. We will only talk about both of them together when both are cross. If one of them is tick, that means data is sufficient, question has been solved. So don't go to option number C, D, E unless both are cross. If both are cross, only then you will come to C, D, E. So understand, only both are cross, then you will see both the statement together. I am repeating for you that you need to see the first statement alone, then take a call S1 cross or S1 tick. See the second statement, take a call S2 cross or S2 tick. And then what you do? If both are cross, then you remove the curtain between them. So it is just like it is S1, S1, S2. You hide S1, that is what you do. So it is S1, S2. You don't talk CS1 when you're talking about S2 and S2, and then when you're talking about S1 you don't see S2. So that is what you see them alone. Got it? When both of them are crossed, then you remove the curtain and then see if both of them can combine. And then if both of them can combine and answer, then it's C. If both of them also cannot answer, then it is E. And if both of them were tick, then the answer was D. Okay, I will solve couple of problems for you in this logic. Are you all with me? Let's solve some problems. We have very standard problems for you. Let's have the first problem for you. Also, you need to understand that determining sufficiency, the couple of tips that we have. I will just revise the tips for data sufficiency and then I'll give you some problems. Then we have last 12 minutes, my dear friends, and then let's have that. Determining sufficiency does not require solving. We only need to tell whether S1 will help us or S1 is sufficient, whether S2 is sufficient. We only need to tell the sufficiency. We need not to talk about the solution. It is not about finding. As also in that data interpretation, we were not solving it. It was only to tell which is greater. Here it is only to tell whether the data is sufficient to solve it. S1 and S2. So we are just checking the efficiency, the sufficiency. So we are just checking the sufficiency of S1 and S2. So it is nothing but sufficiency of S1 and S2. That's what we are talking about. So it's sufficiency of S1 and S2. S2 was crossed, Garvit, because S2 was alone not able to solve it. S2 alone was not able to solve it. S2 alone was saying A is an integer. Integer can be plus or minus. So that means it was not giving me a option between plus 3 and minus 3. It was not giving me short value of A. I knew A was plus 3 or minus 3. I wanted a clear answer, which was only given by S1 alone. S2 alone was only telling me it's an integer. Getting? Garvit, is it fine? Okay, so now let's focus. Another tip is don't look at the statements together. Never ever look at the statements together. And also only sufficiency need to be understood, not solution. Let's have some problem for you. Solve the first second problem in next 2 to 3 minutes. I'm giving you, okay, let's solve all these four problems that you're seeing in 4 minutes, and that would be the things for the day. We will have 4 minutes, you will solve 5 minutes, I will help you solve these in 4 minutes. It's 6:51 in my clock. You are getting the problems now and solve it. 4 minutes for four problems. Okay, now let me help you. So can I tell you the answers first? So note the answers. It is E for elephant. Don't get emotional. We will talk about this. E, D, B, and C. That is what is it. The beauty of this is that we will understand how it is happening. So shall we now discuss each one of them now? Okay, so the first point is now understand, we'll solve one by one. Now, just let's first talk about the information. How many female sheep? So let's say that what it says is female sheep. That means the counter would be male. And another thing is the black. So let's say there are four variables we are getting is one is the male sheep MS. Another variable we are getting is a female sheep FS. Another variable we're getting is a black sheep, and another we're getting is a non-black sheep NB. These are the four variables at least. So we will get at least four variables. Agree? So these are the four variables. You all are with me? Now a flock of 50 sheep. That means sum of all of these is 50. So the one equation we have. So we know there are four variables, and we want to know, so out of which what we have been told is sum of all these, how many female sheep in a flock of 50 sheep are black. So we know that sum is 50. So the first equation is sum is 50. Let's only write, instead of wasting the time on this, we can write it is given that sum equal to 50. So that means one equation in four variables is given to us. We know that. Are you all on same page with me? Now, this is what, and the question is how many of them are black? So, we need the question is, so this is given as S equal to 50 is given to us, and how many of them are black? So, we need the value of BS. So, the question is BS equal to what? So, black sheep is what we need to find. So, that is the question. Now, this is, so let's say first talk about S1. So, I need to find BS. First, S1. When we talk about S1, we don't see S2. What is S1? I have been given, sorry, the male sheep in the flock. So I have been given one of the variables, and I need the second variable. So that means even if I, so my point is I need the value of BS. I have been given a value of MS. Agree? First, there are four variables. I got first equation from the information. This S1 is giving me second equation, but no value. So that means S1 alone is cross or tick. That means S1 alone is cross. So what I write is S1 cross. Let us now forget S1. Now let us forget S1. Let us talk about S2. The question is we want BS. Now what it is saying is, it is saying that the 40% of the animals, that means 20, are black. That means 40% of the animals are black. Now what it is saying is male black plus female black equal to, we are getting 20. 40% is this. Now this is what I have been given. Now, is this giving me the value of BS? No. Just see how would you get it? You're not getting it because this is a new variable. We have, so male black plus female black equal to 20. I want how many female black? I'm not getting it. It was female black. FB I needed. I needed was female black. Okay, so now I'm not getting it because I need this. So I'm just, how will I get that one? So S2 alone is also not sufficient. So that means S2 alone is not sufficient. Now, when I combine both, so because both are wrong, understand, S1 was also cross, S2 was also cross. You remember the table? Just go backwards. What we got in this question, just, and now I will just customize this question for you. Understand that? Just I will customize this for you. I'll just customize this for you. Now what I do is S1 was cross and S2 was also, so S2 was also cross. Now both of them are cross. So this was your option clear. So this was your option table. So my S1 was cross. My S2 was also cross. That means both are cross. Now when my both are cross, what I would do, I would go for both of them together. Now I would go for both of them together. So if both are cross, we said that we will only go for. So this is, if you come to this one also, what is there? S1 is also cross, S2 is cross. When both of them are crossed, you go to both of them together. So now you come to both of them together. Even if you come to both of them together, there are four variables. So you will not be able to solve with three equations because there are four variables and the equations are three. So even you take them together, you will not be able to solve it. So that means even if you take them together, they cannot solve it. So it cannot be solved by any of the methods. S1 alone, S2 alone, both of them together. That's why the option is E. So again, let me summarize. S1 was cross because it was only the second equation. We needed four equations. S2 was cross again. Alone it was giving only second equation. S1 and S2 were giving only one equation. One was already there. Only three equations. Still one equation was more required. So we were not able to solve with S1 and S2 also together. When all of them could not solve, so it is like this, then the option would be E. So you only bring both of them together when you feel S1 is cross, S2 is cross. Okay, now the next one. If the length of a side of equilateral triangle is less than the length of the side of a square, is the length of the side of equilateral triangle. That means question, what is the question? LE is less than LS. Is this is the question. Is LE less than LS? Now there is a trick for these questions. Is LE less than LS? You all are with me? You bring this to the left side. Can it be, is L, this question can be also made like this. Is LE by LS less than 1? So it is, rather than going for LE and LS, the point is what are you searching for? So you don't need individual values of LE and LS, rather you need the ratio of LE and LS. So you need to work for the ratio of LE and LS. So what are you searching for? So you need to find out what are you searching for. You are searching for the ratio. So you need this ratio. If you get this ratio, you will solve this question. So the point is, you should ask about the ratio. Okay, so now let's talk about, the question is so we, if we want to take a call about is LE less than LS, so that is the question. So what we are searching for, if we get the value of LE upon LS, if we get the value of LE upon LS, then we can tell what would happen. Very true. So let's see how would we get the perimeter of E and the perimeter of F are equal. What does this mean? This means perimeter of E, equilateral triangle, 3 times the length of equilateral triangle, equal to perimeter of square, 4 times the length of square. Is this give you LE upon LS? This will give you the value of LE upon LS. And that, if you know LE upon LS, so you are searching for LE upon LS. If you get LE upon LS, your question would be solved. So here it is, we are getting that. So you are getting LE upon LS in the first. So S1 alone is sufficient. That's what we do. So S1 is sufficient. Now let's come to the second alone. S2 alone we want to say. Now it is the ratio of the height of the triangle to the diagonal of the square we have been given. Now just understand, in equilateral triangle everything will be in the terms of the height, the side. Everything would be in terms of the side. So whenever you will get the height of the triangle, it would always be in terms of the equilateral triangle size. So you would get, so the S1 was tick. Now we are focusing upon S2. So what we are doing, just tell me height of the triangle. That means this is all sides we know. The height of the triangle will always be in terms of L of LE, and the diagonal of square will also in terms of LS. So if the ratio of both of them is given, it will be somehow in terms of LE and LS. So S2 alone will also give you that. That means S2 alone also suffices. S1 also suffices. S2 also suffices. That means D for Delhi is the answer. Now let's come to the third problem. Now the third problem, what it says, just understand the concept. A and B are both positive. A and B are both positive. What percentage of B is A? That means what is the question? Question is what percentage of B is A? That means A by B into 100 is being asked. Is it fine? The question is find A by B into 100. So the question is you need to find what is A by B into 100. That means 100 is known. Only need to find A by B. So the question is you are searching for A by B. So your search is for A by B. That is the question. Now let's come. Is the S1, when you're talking about S1, only focus on S1. Is it telling you the value of A by B? No. So S1 cross. S2, it is B by A equal to 20. S2 is giving? Yes, S2 alone is giving. So S2, A by B would be 1 by 20. That is being given to you. So S2 rocks. That means S1 is not sufficient. S2 is sufficient. So that means you can, so it is S1 cross, S2 tick. And that is the option B. And last question, let me solve for you. And then we are done. We will also share in this description, we would also share with you the a worksheet for you which you can solve at leisure. Also this presentation would be shared with you, and we are thinking that the next classes we can have on Zoom directly so that the lag is also not there. So we are planning for having the classes on Zoom directly mostly, so we'll think of that as well. Okay, now let's fine. So let's now go to question number 4. A wheel of radius 2 meters is turning at a constant. So we have radius has been given to us. How many revolutions does it make in time t? So, time t, so number of revolutions has been asked, and time in the time t. So only radius is given to us. Now, so will now what we need is when we need to ask find number of revolutions, we need the speed also. So we are not. So what we need is it's basically speed equal to distance upon time. So we need, so if speed equal to distance upon time. So if we know all these three things, or any two things, we can get the third one. Now, first, how many revolutions does it? So basically, the total distance would be 2 pi r into number of revolutions, n into 2 pi r, that is the distance, upon time equal to speed. Now, if you want to calculate n, you need r, t, and v. R is given to you, so you need to find t and v. Now, S1 is giving only t, not v. So you will not find, S1 is not sufficient. The second one is giving you speed. That means v is given to you, but not t. So you cannot find still. But if you take both of them together, you can solve it. So S1 is cross, S2 is cross, but both of them together are tick. So you do it in that way. That's all, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. I think we have run already ahead. Focus. We would be sharing the sheets. So let me share with you the link of the sheets. With just give me a moment. So we have just shared the link for the sheets. I would share the other one also for data sufficiency. Thank you all, and you can also register at now a very economic price for AIMTN. It is available. I've just shared you the link also. So thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.